Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with a video on TNA. I can't think of a good name to call this yet. Maybe it's just the state of address from TNA, or somebody who bought a Bound for Glory VIP package who's hitting the panic button that wishes he could pick up the phone today, call TNA, and just say, you know what, I'm just not going to make the trip. When we were on our trip, it even starts before that. I mean, if you've been watching my TNA reviews for the last 2 weeks, I've been hanging on by a thread, saying, you know, maybe they haven't been hitting their full potential. Maybe, you know, they're just in a little bit of a lull right now, and they're going to find a way they're going to be able to pull each other out. I was not a big fan of the Chris Sabin title win. I think it was a good way to spark some viewers, have some people tune in for the Destination X pay-per-view TV show, whatever the hell you want to call it. It just sort of, to me, killed everything that they were building up with Aces and Eights. It's just sort of, the whole time I thought that what they were building to is they were trying to recreate WCW's Starrcade, Sting versus Hogan, with, you know, basically like, who was going to be the guy that finally was able to, you know, chop down the Aces and Eights one by one and make sure that he was going to be able to beat them. I thought that that's what the AJ character was. They took us on this weird turn, which I believe dates back to last year. I was going to say last year Bound for Glory, but I don't think that was where it was at. But basically they had the three-way dance. James Storm, Robert Roode, and AJ Styles. The guy who won became the #1 contender. The guy who took the pinfall or submission wasn't able to get a title shot for an entire year. This is a storyline that they've been really loving as of late. You know, AJ wasn't able to get a title shot for a year. Sting, as of now, is never able to get another title shot. Bully Ray, when he got his rematch against Chris Sabin, in which he won, they were able to put in there that if Bully Ray lost, he would never be able to get another title shot as well. I think that's just pushing the limits just a little bit too far. I think that's basically building up a storyline that they're never going to be able to answer back on. But, you know, I've been hanging on by a thread for the maybe even the last few months with TNA. Just, I haven't found any consistency with the product at all. And I know they're going through some changes. You know, Pritchard left the company. They handed the book over to, I guess it's in mostly Hogan and Bischoff's hands right now. Dixie oversees everything and points them in the direction that she wants them to go, and they have to fill in the gaps. I think Jeff Jarrett has been brought back into the company for a little bit, and I think that's a plus, because I just think that Jarrett's going to care more about the company than anybody else. I mean, this really is his legacy that he's going to be leaving behind. It's either going to, you know, burn up in flames, or it's going to, you know, continue to flourish and move forward. As of right now, if you've been able to, you know, follow the stories in the sheets, basically there's a power struggle within TNA. I mean, Hogan and Bischoff have been really, they haven't really mixed their words at all about Dixie's. You know, basically saying that Dixie doesn't know what she's doing. If TNA is going to move forward, they have to give Bischoff more control of the company and do what they want to do. I think if you look at Eric Bischoff and his, you know, the way he handled WCW, I think he was the one guy that was able to take WWE and knock them down a peg, making WCW. But the one thing that they had was they had Ted Turner and a never-ending, you know, checkbook. You know, it's basically Bischoff got to the top by spending and spending and spending. Right now, TNA is cutting, cutting, and cutting. Two separate things, you know. If they're going to do the Bischoff style of booking, they need more money. They need a bigger backer. I think that they're on the ropes with Spike TNA. I apologize, with Spike TV. I think that Spike is more than likely looking at this and trying to see if they can get something out of it more than a good rating. They're putting a lot of money into this product, and it seems like, you know, the Panda, the Carter family, is trying to pull out as much as they can, or maybe just put in enough to where they can, you know, pull back some sort of a profit. They've been putting in enough to where they're losing and losing that they just lost enough. And, you know, I guess the Dixie Carter's mom went into the payroll, and she was the one who actually went in and fired a whole bunch of people like Jesse Sorensen and so on. And the last one to get cut was SoCal Val, which at the end of the day, no one is really going to notice. I don't think anybody is really glued to the TNA YouTube website. at all. I mean, if Dixie and the Panda people pulled out of TNA, I don't think it would be the end of the world. But I just don't think that the way that Eric Bischoff would run TNA is really going to work well these days. There are free agents out there on the market that could be bought up and brought in, but those names are like John Morrison, Shelton Benjamin. Nobody that's really going to move the needle that much. If you wanted to go out and you wanted to sign, the biggest name, it honestly would probably be somebody like Ultimate Warrior. I don't really know what you're going to get out of him. Goldberg, which I don't think has any intent on a full-time wrestling schedule. Anybody else out there is going to hold out for just the money that Vince is going to give them from some sort of a Legends deal to keep them in the fold and just move forward with that. When we were on our trip is when I really hit my boiling point. Me and I think everybody was in the room at that point. I think it was me, Miguel, Justin, and Kevin, and we were just winding down from the Saturday Access session, debating on where we were going to go and if we were going to do anything. And the discussion came up if anybody knew about the TNA spoilers and if we could really talk about them. I hadn't heard them. I knew that I was going to be in Disneyland all week. I wasn't going to be watching any wrestling. So I just said, all right, just go ahead and spill them. Let's hear what's going to happen. And he just tells me AJ just walks out there casually and just turns him back into the old AJ. The whole semi sort of biker gimmick where I'm not a good guy, I'm not a bad guy. It's just out the window. And the one dream match that I was really hoping for was AJ Styles against Bully Ray. I thought that he was going to be the one guy that TNA had to go to and say, we were sorry for doubting you and putting you in this place. And, please be the guy that kills off Ace and Eights. That, to me, that is just honestly TNA hitting the oh shit alarm and just, killing everything that they've done. It to me, at the end of the day, just doesn't make any sense to why they would do that. They could have done some sort of a gradual build to where AJ, maybe one day he, doesn't wear the hood. Maybe one day he doesn't, he wears the gloves. Maybe over, just one time period, he changes his tights. Maybe you do some backstage vignettes with the, the main event Mafia, reaching out to him and trying to bring him back and say that, TNA is not all bad. Sting got burned more than just about anybody, and he's able to, pull together these troops to make sure that Ace and Eights and AJ's sort of like a free agent that they would like to bring in to their group. I know that they had planned this big match for a while. Kurt Angle left. He has his issues that he has to deal with. I don't even know if he's still in treatment or if he's been able to get himself out and say that he's clean and see where that takes him from there. But I just wasn't a fan of this at all. If you watch the show, Main Event Mafia did reach their hand out. They tried to bring in Austin Aries. Somehow, AJ came to make the save, but they didn't even bother to ask Chris Sabin if he wanted to join the group. He was the last TNA World Heavyweight Champion, being the one guy who's beat Bully Ray, but for some reason he wasn't on their radar enough to ask. The biggest star of the company, Jeff Hardy, they didn't bother to go ask him if he wanted to do it. On the same show, Chris Sabin is cutting a promo against Bully Ray and Ace and Eights and saying that he would do anything to make sure that he's able to beat these guys. And Main Event Mafia just didn't even care to ask. That's why when I first heard about them doing this title switch and happening, that I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. Chris Sabin's not even involved in the Bound for Glory series. He's going to win the title here. He'll lose it on that next show. And then he doesn't even have a chance to get a rematch for months. It's going to be after October, long into November or December, seeing how they'll probably do rematches, that he's even going to have a chance to even be in the title picture again. So, yeah, you sort of made this guy a star, but in the next few months, you're going to burn that star out to where it doesn't even matter when you're going to need him somewhere on down the road. AJ, to me, is the face of the company, if not Kurt Angle, but he's just been the guy who's been there longer. Always had the great matches, with just about anybody that you put him in there with. having good guy AJ back isn't a horrible thing. It just, they hit the oh shit alarm too fast for me. If you're going to hit the oh shit alarm, you might as well just killed out, Aces and Eights as a whole. Find some way to have all the guys lay down instead of just Devon, and have, somebody pin 4 guys at once, to where basically Bully Ray's left to fight his fight on his own because you fired all of Aces and Eights all at one time. It might sound stupid, but this is coming from the company that ran the Inside Out Battle Royal. I love the match, but honestly, it's one of the worst booking ideas of all time. Except for that, I mean, they've gone and they've done a complete change to the X Division again. They tried to make all the matches 3-ways. That didn't work. People didn't like them, so they hit the oh shit alarm on that one. Changed them back to now they're all going to be singles matches again. I can't even really think of anything else that's going on in the company. James Storm and Magnus have the, not Magnus, Gunner, I apologize, have the tag titles. They're not involved in anything. Somehow, fucking Joseph Park won 20 points. One of the biggest shows that really got me back into freaking TNA and was like, yeah, this is fucking awesome, was them doing the whole, Abyss reveal and him coming back out. I thought that show was just beyond perfect, and it was just great, and all we got from that was, Abyss winning the TV title, them killing off the TV title, and then just Abyss never being spoken of ever again. With Joseph Park winning 20 points, he has a shot now to make the Final 4 for the Bound for Glory series, and that's just beyond horrible. If you're going to kill off Abyss, I know Joseph Park's been a guy that's been around there for a long time. Just let the guy hang it up. It was a real good angle for a real long time. Some people really liked the Joseph Park character, but it's just beyond the point of just anything likable. If, you don't want to bring back Abyss, just fade this guy out. If you want to say thank you, give him some sort of a backstage management job, and just let him ride out the days like that, because he's just not somebody that's bringing viewers onto my TV, because I see him and I just grimace. I just can't stomach it anymore. It's not for me. At one point, he was one of the most awesome things in wrestling, but just not anymore. TNA needs to, put their thinking cap on, figure out who's going to run the ship. To me, by them firing Brooke Hogan, I thought that honestly was just a message to Hulk. People think that it's because, they've exposed that, she's really engaged with somebody else. They've gone as far as they could with the Bully Ray and Brooke marriage. They've replaced Brooke with a new Brooke, being Tessmacher, and they're just moving on. To me, honestly, Hogan knows that this is Brooke's only meal ticket. And Hogan would have probably left Brooke in TNA as long as he could, and I don't think that honestly was there. I think the Carters looked at it as, sending a message to Hogan that, if we can fire your daughter, we can fire you. Maybe there comes a day that, TNA realizes they're giving a whole lot of money to Hulk, not getting anything out of it. They've only really got him to wrestle, I believe, 1 match, maybe 2 brawls or something like that, but not what they were probably expecting in 2010 when they brought him in. I think a lot of people were thinking that it was only going to be a 1-year, maybe 2-year stint, and somehow he stretched it into 3. No, I apologize. He at least had 1 main event. He did wrestle Sting at a Bound for Glory. I really was hoping that we were finding a way to get Hogan versus Bully Ray. I think that would have been a good match at Bound for Glory, but I don't know. Maybe Austin Aries will win it now or something else. But it's a trip I'm going to go on. It's all prepaid for. It's just one that you might see me frown a lot in my freaking experience videos. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on TNA. Please add on and leave yours below. Any video responses would be greatly appreciated. And have fun. I'm heading over to the burrito shop again. Peace out.